So today we have with us Azeeza. She's our new intern with NCAFRICA, so she'll be paneling this session. So um, I think it's safe for Azeeza to start the introduction while we wait for our speaker. Can you tell us about what we're doing today and why we are hosting this IG Live to commemorate the World Breastfeeding Week?
Thank you so much, Miss Christiana. Well, hello everyone. My name is Azeeza Runmonkun, and welcome to NCAFRICA. Thank you very much for joining us today. So let's get down to why we are here. We're here because of World Breastfeeding Week. This week is backed by the WHO, UNICEF, Ministries of Health, and civil societies. Now, it is normally celebrated in the first week of August every single year. But this week, we'll be talking about harmonizing breastfeeding and work. We hope to encourage and help working women, that is, balance their day-to-day lives. We're actually here to talk with Ms. Patience Alagbo, but she's not here yet. But let me tell you exactly what we're going to take you through in this session. Firstly, you'll be learning about the strategies of breastfeeding successfully while working. We also hope to share with you personal stories, and at the end of this session, we also hope that you leave with valuable resources that help foster a supportive atmosphere for working women. Now, I know it's going to be an exciting and educative session, but we would like for you to keep all your questions in the chat box, and then we'll access it as the time goes on. We have a specific section for Q&A, and we'll address all your questions in that part of this talk. Yes. Thank you.
All right.
And yeah, let's just wait a little bit longer for Ms. Alagbo.
All right, thank you. I think she has a little bit of network glitch at her side, so she's still trying to mitigate that. She'll be joining us shortly.
Good. Okay. I would like to say hello to all of you personally. So thank you so much for coming out, Miss Christiana. Miss Yolande, thank you very much for also coming out. Miss Daly, I would like to say thank you. A.S. Hamilton, thank you so much for joining us today. Miss Marv, the Marv that is, thank you very much for joining us as well. Debola Dimeji, thank you so much also for joining us. And I love your name so much. Simply Eats with Kiki. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Thank you so much for your patience, and I just would like for a little bit more.
All right. Once again, would like to apologize for the delay. We're so sorry about this. In the meantime, while we wait, let's engage ourselves and talk more on breastfeeding. So, Aziza, have you ever breastfed before, or do you have any first-hand experiences with breastfeeding?
Honestly, myself no, because I'm still very young. But obviously, I have older cousins who are married and have beautiful children. So yes, I was there while they were breastfeeding their children, and I saw a little bit of that. Well, I was a lot younger, so I was kind of like, ooh, and I was like, go away. But now I'm older and I understand that it is a normal function, a normal body function that one day I will have to do as well.
So yeah, I think averagely as women, it's inevitable that except by choice or by any other physical inability, it's inevitable that eventually most of us would still have to go through this process. And yeah, having to balance this with work entails a lot of balancing, a lot of planning, a lot of effort. In as much as we want to make sure we nurture the child as well properly, we would also make sure that we don't lose ourselves in that process. And this has been like a very crucial issue for the workforce because women play a lot of role in the workforce and a huge role at that. So it's essential for us to be able to mitigate breastfeeding, childbirth, and infancy, as well as being functional in the workforce. So this is a huge topic that will be so impactful for everyone. And Aziza, what would you like to say about the level of awareness about breastfeeding or the importance of creating a supportive environment for mothers that are breastfeeding?
Well, personally, I feel like we first need to tell everyone that like it is an important part that you can't just like breastfeed your baby. Obviously, that is completely good and fine, but the benefits of breastfeeding outweigh that of the bottle and all the other alternatives to breastfeeding. And I feel like since it is so important, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but breastfeeding actually reduces the risk of infant mortality. And since it's really important for us to obviously reduce that rate, we companies, governments, they need to encourage women to breastfeed their children, and they should do that through policy. They need to increase maternity leave. They need to increase hours in which working women can breastfeed their children. And I think in public spaces, they also need to create spaces that make women comfortable enough to breastfeed their children and just like encourage them to breastfeed their children.
Right, that's amazing. So would you say that people are actually aware of the impact of being supportive towards mothers that are breastfeeding? Would you say there is a high level of awareness in Nigeria, or we're still upcoming, as people would say?
I personally feel like we're upcoming because although like some people know about the benefits, some people know that like we should make people comfortable enough to breastfeed, we don't actively do it. We kind of like just acknowledge it and like it's kind of nonchalant, like okay, yeah, I know about it, yeah, okay. And like they don't really like, oh yeah, you should be comfortable enough to do this. Man, like obviously I have like room in the back if you want to breastfeed a child or things like that. We're kind of like, it's kind of not my business. Like people have like that kind of mentality. Like it's not my business. It's not me. It's not my baby. Like that kind of mentality, I believe.
All right, that's nice. Please, to our listeners, if you have any questions, you can kindly drop them. We'll attend to them shortly before we round up the call. What would you say about self-care and breastfeeding? Like I earlier explained, when mothers are breastfeeding, they tend to put all of their attention on the child. When they're not thinking about the baby, they're thinking about work, especially for working mothers. So what would you say mothers can do to be able to ease off and to be able to let off steam while breastfeeding?
Well, I personally believe that self care is incredibly important. Um, So I believe you should, working women should just take like an hour out of their time, 2 hours out of their time, just take care of themselves. Go for a walk, exercise if that's what makes you feel comfortable. Go watch a movie. Have like you should always have a support system. You should always have like maybe your mom, if you can, your mom, your husband, like someone there to help you with the child so that you can just be like, my child is safe here. Maybe I should just go watch a movie, have like just have some time to be yourself, because when you don't do that you kind of lose yourself. You go into situations such as postpartum depression. You have overwhelming amount of anxiety because you're not just, obviously having a child is incredibly stressful, but working on top of that is just mind-blowing. So, and you're incredibly strong for doing that. So you need to just take time out of your day so that the anxiety, the depression doesn't weigh you down. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. You did. I think you have a request to add a few people to the video, so please can you attend to that shortly? I think you have a request to add a few people to that shortly. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Finally.
Yeah, sorry, I think something was wrong with my device, but I thank God a colleague is around, so I just picked up a phone and tried to find my way around. I'm so sorry for the challenge. I think something was wrong, but I'll try to fix it after this. I hope everyone can hear me clear and loud.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
So sorry for the challenge.
Welcome.
That's fine. These are issues that we sometimes don't have control over. So once again, would like to apologize to everybody here with us. We're really sorry for the delay, and would dive right into the topic for today. So Azeeza, over to you. We have to make it snappy as well because we've lost 30 minutes. And I think there's also one more person that would like to join, Bolapo. So please, can you add up?
No, this is not my device. I'm using Bola Pope's device.
Okay.
So I requested.
Okay. All right. So let's go right into it.
Good afternoon, ma. Firstly, I would like to say I love your shirt.
Thank you very much.
And again, I would like to welcome everyone. I would like to welcome everyone here to NCAFRICA. So we had a little bit of an introduction before Miss Patience came in, and I think we should just go over it really quickly. So firstly, we're here because of the World Breastfeeding Week. This week is backed by the WHO, UNICEF, Ministries of Health, and civil society partners. This year, for World Breastfeeding Week, we want to focus on harmonizing breastfeeding and work. We want to encourage working mothers to have balance over their lives. Now, Ms. Alagbo, she is here to help us understand this topic a bit more. She is an associate nutritionist and dietetic lecturer at Wesley University of Technology, also a nutrition consultant for Diet for Health Initiative, and most importantly, she is a breastfeeding advocate for Nigerian infants and young children. Now, I think we should get to the questions we have for you, Ms. Alagbo. Is that okay?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Alagbo, can you hear me?
Yes, okay, I can hear you now.
We would like the questions.
Could you please, okay. Your line is breaking, ma'am.
There's an issue with our network.
Yeah.
So
because
would like to go straight into the questions that we have for you today. So can you please introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about the projects you've been able to carry out over the years as related to breastfeeding?
Yeah, my name is Patience Alagbo. I'm a dietitian and a nutritionist also. I personally like issues around breastfeeding, especially infant and young child feeding practice, things that attracts to the cradle, that is to the first grassroots of life. That is mostly nutrition, the first 1,000 days of life, and especially with breastfeeding. And over the years, there have been advocacy, there have been support for mothers, and there have been more enlightenment. And most of the projects that are being done currently now in the country is focusing more on advocacy and sensitization, making people to learn and unlearn programs. Those programs surround that to make us to understand what and how should we do things, especially when it comes into nutrition. Especially, we have so many programs that are being done by support partners. We also have various NGOs, and most of these programs focus more on sensitization and advocacy. And in my own little way, people know me for advocacy. At any point in time, seeing young mothers, especially the first-time moms, I try to reach out to them, tell them what should be done, make them to unlearn some of the things they have learned that are wrong. I think these are some of the things we have been doing, and we have been seeing great results, and people have been yielding to the call of breastfeeding.
Thank you so much. We would also like for you to tell us some common challenges that lactating mothers face, especially in the workforce.
Can you please come over? Your line was breaking.
Okay. We would like for you to give us.
Your line.
Can you hear me now, ma? Ms. Alagbo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Please, can you please give us some common challenges that are faced by women in the workforce?
Yeah, we have numerous of them. Mothers that would like to breastfeed their child, but having few challenges. Some of those challenges majorly are how to be flexible, managing their time, the work to do. They have their own call to make, but yet still they have their own babies to take care of. How do they manage the time? Some of the challenges they have, and also challenge that goes with providing break time or having break time for mothers to breastfeed their children. So some of the challenges working mothers face at their workstations. And also, they experience stigmatization and discrimination from their bosses. Some people don't even know or know the reason why they should breastfeed their children, because they lack understanding of the advantages and they see it as no big deal. And most times they see it as, oh, everybody does that, so they stigmatize. Some people don't even employ nursing mothers, which sometimes they are eligible to pick up those jobs. In fact, they can even give you fantastic outputs. But because these mothers are breastfeeding, there's discrimination, some of the challenges they face, and also inadequate support in the workplaces. Those workplaces, those workstations, some of them lack breastfeeding rooms, lactation rooms, no comfort for them, no privacy to breastfeed or even to express. Some of them even share offices with male colleagues. How would they bring out their breast pumps to do the needful? They lack some of these things. And also, we have some strict and inflexible workplace code of conduct. And some of this code of conduct affects mothers. Once they pick up the job, they assign their signature to say, yes, I'm doing this, I'm going to do that. And some of these conducts, all this rigidity at the place of work, experience, most times give them they see it as a challenge, and most times some people drop out from breast. For flexibility, poor timing, sometimes when the babies are crying or when they need to attend, and lack of break time. Some of our employers don't stick to the rules that bind workstations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Since you've spoken about the challenges, let's talk about how these challenges can be fixed, especially in the workspace. What can employers do to create a supportive and accommodating environment? You've already spoken about the lactating rooms. What more can they do?
Yes. There are numerous and great number of things. There are tips in which employers can actually do. Things employers can actually do. Number one, we have a set of rules. We have guidelines. Number one, do we even know them? Do our employers do we know them? Number one, they have to pick up all of these things. And an enabling environment to breastfeed children at workstations, or to have access to a comfortable environment, there are equipment and facility that needs to be put in place. Number one, is a beautiful space for mothers to be able to breastfeed, and equipping those spaces. And there are some things that we need to put in place. Number one, the place have to have enough privacy, like a curtain, comfortable chairs, a refrigerator if you want to express your breast milk, and keep a facility where you can warm your breast milk, a refrigerator that doesn't allow any other person to put any contaminant or anything that can contaminate the breast milk, a room that's comfortable, an aerated environment, a table, and paper towels, things that make the environment comfortable should be provided at every workstation that have more than 10 women working in
I
there.
also like, since
There's
there's
so
so much
things.
shortcomings, what can a working woman do to get her rights without being looked down on or discriminated against?
Number one thing, sometimes the mother have already picked up a job sometimes before even getting pregnant or having the baby. Now, having a baby or breastfeeding a baby is not a disease, and it's not an infirmity to be managed. So in this way, number one thing, we have to look for a way of creating a balance with your work and with your baby. Your baby should not be jeopardized, and your work time also should not be jeopardized. So striking a balance, number one, setting life priorities right. These are things you need to do. You need to set priorities right. And also, once you have known, these are my activities, these are what I'm supposed to do at this time, these are the things I'm supposed to do, setting those things right, putting them most times on the paper. As a mother, each day you wake up, you know you have two tasks for that day. Number one, you face your office job, and also you are also feeding your baby. Set your life priorities, adapt to your status of being a mother. There are so many changes that have to come into this. You have to adapt to those status, and also there's some things women are actually overwhelmed. We have so many things that overwhelm us. As you're taking out the baby, you may even have maybe 3 others on ground before the 4th one, or maybe a baby on ground before. And sometimes you may have family members to cope with, husband to take care of. Number one, learn to say no for some things. Number one, heavy use of social media. You get overwhelmed. Sometimes you see some bad news, it changes your mental status, you get irritable. Change and adjust on the heavy use of social media. And also, this syndrome of I can do it all should be broken. You need help. Sometimes call for help when you need help. If you need your husband to do things, don't feel, I think I should do better. I think I can do better. I think I'm the right person to do this. No. Delegate. Siblings, other children, or people staying with you. learn to help you to carry out some activities at home that can help you focus on your work at your workstations. And also, wasting time with other colleagues, just chatting around and all of that, can be a strong problem, cheating mother. And also, another thing is making choices. I'm having a baby in the next 2 months. This is my EDD. I want you to know I would like to breastfeed. When I'm having my mat leave and when I resume, my baby will be breastfed in time. Support and also seek for support when necessary. With these, getting these, putting things in place, you have a balance. And most time, taking each day at a time. Don't be overwhelmed with how will the next 2 months looks like. No. Taking a beat, breaking down your goal to different tasks, and following these will help a mother to secure a balance in her work, life, and the breastfeeding.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
I also want to know, since the woman is obviously going to be running around doing so many other things, what is something that she definitely has in her diet? What are some food requirements that she needs to replenish the energy that she has lost while running around?
Okay, a mom after the pregnancy states, even in the pregnancy states, there are the needed calories for the mother to be able to support pregnancy. But after delivery, there's more heavy task now because she is lactating and she's bringing forth food for a newborn. There's something we call lactogenic foods, and I think the baseline is eating right. And lactogenic foods sometimes could be individualized. Someone can take watermelon and say, oh, watermelon make me to lactate so much. And another fellow says, I don't have any difference. I don't see any difference. First thing is eating right, eating adequately, eating balanced diets. Those are the major things. A balanced diet is the major thing to help to get lactation straight and right. And also, we can't take away the place of rest because rest has something to do with lactation. They go hand in hand. Even if a mother eats enough and thinks is eating well, but lacks adequate rest, they may not be let down. That is, the mother may not be able to lactate the way she wants to lactate. Although some people say they take coca oats, it helps them to lactate well. There's something in coca oats that's the beta glucan, and this beta glucan, what it does is it helps to boost milk production. It sensitizes that hormone that helps in the production of breast milk and lets down. So adequate nutrition is the key. The first thing is the baseline to get right to help proper lactation. Eating well, eating food rich in protein, and also taking little of caffeine. Most of us will take caffeinated drinks a lot. Mothers should try to desist from it because it has an impact. It interferes also with letdown because it creates in the body of the mom unnecessary agitation. Caffeine can do a lot of work in that regard. Once there's agitation, definitely the milk letdown will be affected. And also, caffeine that escapes into the breast milk or leach into the breast milk can make a baby not asleep. And I'm sure a baby that is not resting means the mother is not resting, and the mother that is not resting also have a poor letdown. I hope I did justice to that.
It did. Yeah. Did justice to it. Thank you very much. Ma, you spoke about rest, and to build on that, what are some things that a woman can do for self-care so she can take care of herself and say no to certain things and having boundaries? What are some exercises that you think that every lactating mother should have in their plan or in their activity just to calm down and rest?
Yeah, lactation is a whole job on its own. and in the face of his life, especially if you're a first-time mom. No. Number one thing is you need to take care of yourself and especially your mental health. It's very, very important. Because if we don't get it right, we will be more troubled and have many issues. Number one thing is rest, sleep. Very, very key. If you want to, medics know that we need around 8 hours sleep, 7 hours sleep to maintain our physiological bodies. Yeah, for a lactating mom, you can't joke with sleep because your brain is even working effectively and more not resting, because at night you still breastfeed and hormones are being triggered up there to allow later. Rest is very important. And sometimes, breastfeeding comes with anxiety, especially if you think you're not doing the best, you're not having enough breast milk, I don't have enough breast milk, insufficient breast milk, brings about, look for things to stop that first. Self-care, because you have a baby, doesn't mean you should forsake your routine exercise. Even if you cannot do rigorous exercise because you are even burning enough calorie itself, but mild exercise, it even helps to improve the mental health of a mother, and also to make you happy and in pregnancy can also be lost through exercises. It makes mild exercises, yoga, just a little child, listening to music. We have different relaxation tips that can help, because breastfeeding is a serious workout on itself. So how do we relax? Look for what fits you enough. If you think you have or heard of terrible experiences, let go of them. Relax well, and also try to look for things that make you glad and happy to help release all these tensions so you can do the work of breastfeeding appropriately and well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My next question is based on the fact that there's so many myths around breastfeeding, and they tend to creep into like a lactating mother's life, because you need like a village. You need your mother, you need your aunties, and when your support system isn't really well versed in what to do to help you, you can fall short. Now, you mentioned NGOs before. What are other local support groups, organizations that should be available to working mothers or are available to working mothers to get them the information that they need, the correct information they need?
Yeah, we have a couple of them. I work personally with one, I volunteer with one, and we call it the MACRI, that is the Maternal and Child Resource Initiative on Breastfeeding. And what do we do? Mostly, we go into the grassroots. The people that are likely not to have those informations, we go to the grassroots, we create an awareness, we let people know that, yes, breastfeeding is good, but let them know that there are also challenges with breastfeeding. We let them know the challenges and take them through the back door on how to solve those challenges. UNICEF is doing a great job at various levels, the local, the federal level, and the international level, to support. At the end of Bayelsa, there's a local government called NEMBI in Bayelsa, and they have this local support group, and they do it on a weekly basis. They have this weekly support meeting they do. And it's not only for mothers. They invite fathers and other caregivers to come to this local support. What do? They learn, they learn, they take notes of things, and they ask questions. And really, support groups go a long way. If you look at Kenya statistics, they have fantastic results, and the improvement of breastfeeding. A couple of years, they have 44% increase. And checking through what they have done, the strategies, is through local supports. And it gives fantastic interest. There's increase. People are now adopting exclusive breastfeeding and breastfeed their children at the normal age time they should do. And they're doing it well and they're getting it right. Support groups. MACRIB is one. And we have so many other NGOs reaching out to people at the grassroots and also people in the urban areas also, telling them our platforms are always opened, we make people know, we answer enough questions. I personally am a breastfeeding advocate. Once I see a new mom struggle with placing or putting the baby to breasts, I will them they are doing a good job, give them kudos, ask for their baby weight, just make them friendly. Then I tell them, this is what you're not doing. You cannot me if you have a challenge. You have problems, aside being a dietitian, I can also give you support and tell you when we are doing it right. So MACRIB is one of them, and we also have so many people out there doing great jobs supporting mothers and creating an. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Now, my next question is, what are some strategies that the public, not just local support groups, but the public as a whole, what can we do to show mothers that we not just accept them, but we have also normalized breastfeeding in society?
Margareta, can you hear me? I'm done.
Sorry, Ma? Miss Alagbo? Okay, I asked, what are some strategies that the public as a whole can implement, not just local support systems, support groups, or organizations? What's it that the public can do to show mothers that we not just
when a mom
breastfeeding, but we also normalize it in our society?
Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Great awareness. And also, we have public places. How many supermarkets have you gone to? Have you seen the breastfeeding booth? These are some of the things you can do. You barely see breastfeeding booths elsewhere. Yeah, we have students, probably master students, and people pursuing their postgrad, probably at one level of postgraduate study or the other. If you're going to, and these are people in their reproductive ages, they have babies. Do our lecturers allow them to bring their babies to class to breastfeed? Do we have a comfortable place for them? These are the things we can do, the public can do. Creating a breastfeeding booth, having a breastfeeding awareness. There's some parts of the country in which you cannot breastfeed publicly. And there are some nations that would not allow you to breastfeed properly or do it in the open. These are things we can stop doing. Allow mothers to do joy. Lecturers support your students. Let them bring their babies to the classroom environment. Let them have access to their babies and bring. In my master's program, I had a baby. A 3-month baby when I was writing one of my exams. Yeah. My teachers will allow me to have my baby attend the classes with me. For months, we did it together, and I can breastfeed. I do breastfeed my child in the examination hall. Those are supports I received. Yes, and I could do it, and I breastfed had 2 years because I had the support. Let the mothers that are coming to take care of the new moms pick up their time to focus on the newborn. Fathers also have paternity. The federal government is giving them 14 working days free. They are to support mothers, not just to run around or think they're having a free leave to sleep and while away time. No, they should support mothers. When the mothers are in churches, in places, public places, we can actually create a good environment for them to do the needful. If they need to express their breast milk, if they need to breastfeed, they shouldn't feel ashamed or feel withdrawn doing that. A good environment should be created, and we should support. It's not a one-man thing. It's everyone that should do this together. Let's support as a nutritionist, as even non-nutritionists, but you know that up to them. Give them a thumbs up. Let's rub their backs. Let's make them comfortable. And with that, they will be able to do. And for bosses and colleagues that are listening, you have somebody at your workstation and has a baby, you can cover up for them or allow them to take their rotational shift, because the federal government in the Labor Act made it known that we have 2 hours break per day. So you can spread it out, maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes to go breastfeed. Once they are off, we should encourage them to take their time off and also support them, give them necessary support. It's just for a short time. It's just for a short time. And if we do that together, Nigeria will have a spike and an increased rate in exclusive breastfeeding and breastfeeding at large. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma. Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question on the advice you have for policymakers and for job makers as well. But you already answered most of it in this your last sentence, so that's a great job, Ma. Thank you, Ma. But aside that, what would you say is the level of awareness of policymakers and job providers to breastfeeding in Nigeria? I mean, compared to other countries like Canada, they have up to 18 months of maternity leave, and in Nigeria we have like about 6. So there's a huge, would I say, space to cover as a country. But then would you be able to say we're getting there already, or we still have like a lot of work to do? And if so, how can we be able to do that as job providers and as policymakers?
Yes, I think this centers more on this year's theme. Working with others, and sincerely, our policymakers have a lot to do. Fortunately, we have them handy. But how many people are aware that we have policies and we have like entitlements in the law or a written document to support? First thing is, number one, mothers do not even know. And the level of our awareness is present of workplace in Nigeria, workplace breastfeeding policy, just 9%. So you can see that we still have a long way to go. Although some people are doing a great job, like we have the Access Bank in Nigeria. You know, as a banking hall, most times have young women in their workforce. They have at least large number of reproductive ones. And look at what Access Bank is doing. They have this program we call Mama Care. And this Mama Care entails then you bring your babies to work, you have access to the babies, you can breastfeed them. So many other banks are also doing that. Nestle also, they have paid maternity, they have breastfeeding rooms at their facilities, and they give support to mothers. 9% is a small percentage. We need to climb up. Governments, the governors' right forums, they need to look into this and help us to bring sensitization, public and massive sensitization to workplaces, school owners should help them also build the life of their own children while they are building the life of others. So 9% awareness is very poor as at present in Nigeria. We need to do more. We have written documents. Mothers, know your rights. Let your bosses know what the country is saying and what policies are on ground for you. With this knowledge and awareness, I think coming 2030, we'll be able to achieve so many, especially around SDG goals that support breastfeeding, and we have objectives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. This will be my last question. I actually want to ask you a little bit about your shirt, Ma.
I didn't get that, sir.
Sorry, I would like to ask you a little bit more about your shirt.
Sorry, I didn't get.
Please, can you tell us a little bit more about your
the what?
The shirt you're wearing, your shirt, Ma.
Okay, this shirt, I love to wear it because even as I was walking around the university campus this morning, every eye were on my chest saying breastfeeding is not always easy, but it is always worth it. And that has always been my message to everyone. Breastfeeding is an old task, is an old job on its own, but it's worth it. It's not easy. Nobody's going to promise you it's easy. It has its own challenges. So we used this last year to create awareness, sensitization, and can also make do for any time. I can wear it to let people know. But it's breastfeeding week. This shirt goes for all the whole week with me. All I'm wearing this week is from 1st to 7th. Aside, I'm going to church or private places, but anywhere I'm going in public space, I'm wearing this all through the week. So that's what the shirt is all about.
Thank you so much, Ma. Everything you've told us has been so informative. Thank you so much.
Yes,
for our viewers to put in their questions into the chat box, so we'll be able to ask more about them.
Do we have any questions? If we don't, I think it's safe to move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was actually the last of our questions. And I would just like to say thank you once again to you, Ms. Alagbo. Today we've learned about diet, we've learned about the policies that have already been put in place by the government but have not been exercised by the organizations. 9% is truly low, and hopefully, like you said, in 2030 we'll be able to see a spike in that number as awareness goes up. I would also like to thank you for telling us more about the emotional well-being and the mental well-being of mothers, and the fact that they should exercise, listen to music. These are things that I truly believe are important, because mental health in this day and age has been going low from teenagers to even lactating mothers. And as you already said, lactating is a job on its own, a worthy job on its own. And we also would like more information about the support group you gave. If you could, please send it to us and give it to our viewers. But again, thank you so much. And to our viewers, I hope that today you've learned a lot about promoting and embracing breastfeeding. It is important for us, and I hope that we have learned a lot about it.
Okay, Ms. Christiana, also to add to this, I'm asking for our viewers, in case there is any mother that needs advice on breastfeeding or anything around that topic, can they send you a DM on Instagram, or can they reach out to you? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Can reach out to me, send me a message on my Instagram. Feel free to discuss the challenges. I'm all here to helping mothers. That's what we call, and we'll always be glad to make it at any time too.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the advice and the insights you've given us. I'm sure we'll be able to build on that. And as listeners, we encourage everybody to be supportive to any lactating mother around you or anybody that is breastfeeding. It's not an easy task. And yeah, thank you everybody for joining us today. We hope you have a nice day ahead.
Yes, thank you, and thank you again.
Bye.
Yes, bye.